So it's time to harvest the seeds off of the pak choi. And this is what it looks like. These are 3 plants that I allowed to go to seed, and they have produced a large amount of seeds. And I've been waiting for them to dry out enough to be able to harvest. And they were mostly dry, so my little helper got the ones that weren't really all dried out, and I saved all of the ones from the pods that were dry enough to save. And then I'm back on the allotment, and it's time to trellis the tomatoes. And every year I tell myself I'm gonna trellis or start trellising them immediately when I plant them out, because it's really hard to trellis once they start growing. I got it done, but it was really annoying. So note to self for next year again, that when I'm planting them out, I really need to trellis them immediately. So putting it's like a plastic rope that I tie to the base of the tomato. And then I am harvesting the onions of the year. These were mostly from sets because I planted out the ones that I started from seed, but I didn't cover them, so they were all crispy and dried out. So wherever there was a gap, I put in an onion set instead. So most of the sets didn't really produce large onions. They were quite small. The ones that I'm harvesting here are shallots, so I think they're supposed to be small like this, the variety. But the ones that survived from seed that survived gave huge onions, like the biggest onions I've ever grown. So here are examples of 2 that were from seed. They're, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but they're really, really large. So that was really great. And then I moved on to, this was one of the garlic buds that I harvested out. There were beets and some onions interplanted with garlic. And now that I've harvested all of that, I'm planting out some leeks for the fall. So I'm just dipping out holes, and then I'm putting down some rock dust and some bone meal, I think, and probably some alfalfa as well, just because that's basically what I use for everything. So because I plant them out quite tightly, it's hard to put into each hole, so I mostly just scattered the fertilizers on the surface, and just hoping that the fertilizer will go down to the roots when I water this area in. And then I'm just placing each leek seedling into a hole and kind of trying to push it down so that they stand up straight, and then just watering them in, and hopefully we'll get a nice harvest for fall and winter this year. You can tell that the lettuce that I planted out in an earlier video are already coming up and looking great. And then a little harvest of flowers. So some snapdragons, and I don't really know what else I'm going to harvest. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what there is. Oh, and I also had some anemones. So these purple flowers that I'm harvesting are anemones. And I'm planning on saving the corms for next year. So if there's any flowers that I'm not able to use in bouquets, I'm just deadheading all of them to try to get the plant to send all the energy it has to its roots. But these plants, I mean, I thought anemone were like really cold loving spring plants. I mean, it doesn't really get that hot. Like the hottest it's been through July and August was 28 degrees Celsius. So it's hot for us, but it's not like it's hot compared to, I mean, I don't want to say everybody else, but other places in the world. I feel like 28 degrees Celsius is just, it's quite cool actually for being the highest temperature of the year. So maybe that's why these anemones are just keep producing flowers. Like they haven't stopped since the first harvest. There's always been anemones to harvest, which is great, of course, but I need this space. I have asparagus seedlings that I'm wanting to plant out. So this bed, strawberries and asparagus, and I'm planning on making this a perennial bed. And then I harvested some, this is Brussels sprouts, and this is just cabbage. And I didn't harvest the entire plant, just a leaf off of each plant. And this is kale. And then I was using my refractometer. So I put the leaf in this garlic press. And as you might have noticed, that wasn't cabbage. This is apple, a leaf from an apple tree. And then I put it on the refractometer and I just do the reading. So I just got into this. I recently got this refractometer. So you can see here that the Brix level is 18, which is supposed to be a really good level. And why I'm doing that is just, it's a good way to see if the plants are healthy. And so I also was listening to a podcast where they talked about if the plant has Brix of 12 or below. So Brix is the sugar content of the leaf, and the more the leaf is photosynthesizing, the higher the Brix. And so, yeah, I was just wanting to try measuring the Brix on my plants to see, just to have something to compare with. So this year, all the plants in the brassica family were looking really healthy. So I figured if I have the Brix levels of this year and other years, maybe when they're not as healthy, I have something to compare with. So the apple tree that I was doing the reading on, that I showed you in the video, that tree, it's not really healthy, I wouldn't say. I feel like it looks like it has some type of fungus on the leaves, but it has the best. We have by our summer house, we have 4 apple trees, and that tree has the most sun exposure. It looks the worst, like it looks the most diseased out of all of the trees, but it was actually the tree that had the highest Brix, and the other trees have had aphids this summer, and that tree hasn't had any aphids. So even though it doesn't really look good, it is photosynthesizing the best. So it's interesting, and we're just going to keep checking on it and trying to get the fungus under control. But it's really interesting, so that the plants that we really thought were the healthiest and looking the best weren't really the ones that had the highest Brix, and they were also the ones that actually had the most pest on them, so mainly aphids. So yeah, I'll just keep on taking leaves and measuring the sugar content to see if I can use that somehow. I mean, right now I don't really know what to do with the answers other than just knowing what each plant has in Brix levels. But I don't really know what to do with that yet, but I'm hoping that I'll get more of an understanding the more I do it. And so here is me making a bouquet. You can see I put all the onions on the table because I don't really have a place to hang them. I would prefer to hang them, but I place them on the table and then I'm turning them over every once in a while, and I have a fan on them. So that's how I'm trying to get them to dry out. And I'm sorry that you can't really see the bouquet while I'm making it, but I'll show you in the end what it looks like, and I feel like it turned out beautiful. And I think my own flowers are just the anemones and the snapdragons, and then the rest I think is foraged. So it's wild yarrow, and there's this yellow perennial that I don't remember the name, but I'll put the name in the video. And then also I have oregano from my allotment, and yeah, I think that's it. It looks cute. The red flowers are anemones as well, and the pink bushy one on top is the oregano. So here's the onions again. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time.